Clippers 125-118 at the end of a back-to-back last night. Really a tale of two halves for LeBron. He finishes with a game-high 33, but he only had 3 points at halftime. Anthony Davis chipped in 17. The Lakers did trail by as many as 24 points at one point. LeBron called it, quote, one of the toughest games we've had all year. So this morning, the Lakers wake up remaining in that 7th seed. If they don't move up, see you in the play-in tournament. Shannon, how much faith did you lose in the Lakers last night?
I didn't lose anything, any faith, Skip, because what I do know, in a one-game situation, anything can happen. And we've seen it happen. I believe the Lakers can beat anybody in a 7-game series. More importantly, the Lakers believe they can beat anybody in a 7-game series. And that's all that matters. The question is, how healthy are they going to be? Now, there will be no back-to-backs. So we don't have to worry about LeBron and AD playing a back-to-back. You will be able to get some rest. It's probably like maybe the first game is like on Thursday, and then the next game probably going to be like a Monday or Tuesday. So first game, and then, they travel, and then you get into a rhythm and going back every other day. I'm confident that LeBron is starting to get his rhythm, Skip. We saw what happened in Utah. Although he blew the layup at the end. Yep. He goes and gets 9 of their 11 points in overtime.
Did.
We saw last night he had 3 points. He was 1 for 6 from the floor. And then we see him go haywire. As good a half of basketball, if you'll see from anybody, forget his age notwithstanding, years in the league notwithstanding, that's as good a performance, whether you're 21, 25, 30, or you're 38 and you're 20.
Agreed.
12 or 14 for 30 points was sensational. Mm-hmm. And so given that, but Skip, at the end of did you know this? AD and LeBron were able to play 5 straight games starting from January 27th to 2021 until April 4th of 2023. They went over 800 days and never played 5 consecutive games together.
Okay.
The question is, what AD am I going to get? Am I going to get the AD to give me 40 and 17?
Yep.
Or am I going to get the guy to give me 17 and 11?
That is the question.
Am I going to get a guy to give me 8 and 9?
Yep.
What am I going to get, Skip?
Okay. You seemed to open the show to be a little deflated by what happened last night.
Because you know what I think the thing is, Skip? Sometimes, you just play somebody, and no matter what, they just get ready to play you.
They do. I tweeted late last night, if somehow the Clippers could play the Lakers in every playoff game, they'd go win the championship because they'd crush, man.
They shoot the ball from 3.
However good they are, the Lakers bring out the very best in them.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to say again, last night was the single weirdest NBA game I have ever watched because none of it really made sense. But my biggest takeaway at the end was I wasn't deflated for your Lakers. I was very encouraged by how they performed in the second half, starting with LeBron, but all of them. It felt good to me, but
You like the fight. They just didn't grow up. A 24-point lead didn't go to 40.
I don't know how you could play a whole lot better because the other team just made shots when Bones Highland is jacking them up from 35 feet and ripping them. You can't defend it. It's too good. He's the backup point guard, and he comes in. Russ barely plays in the second half after a hot start, a great start. And Bones Highland finishes you off with 14 in the fourth quarter to offset LeBron's 5 out of 5, 2 out of 2 from 3, 14 points in the fourth quarter. It's incomprehensible, crazy to me that this weird game turned out to be actually a Lakers showcase in the second half. Even quietly, Austin Reeves, he got his 20. He was pretty good. AD, not so much. The points and the rebounds look okay, but in the end, he got out-hustled and outplayed by Big Zoo, a former Laker. That's the sticking point. That's the Achilles feel for your team is that I don't have a feel for what you're going to get from him night to night. But the point was that everything was upside down because if LeBron was going to play a great half, like an all-time great half, and an all-time worst half, they should have been flipped.
Right.
You played 38 minutes. You were forced, because you missed the layup at the end of regulation at Utah, to play 5 more minutes. You redeemed yourself. You spent yourself. You got in late because they couldn't de-ice the plane in Utah. You didn't get your normal rest. You were a game time decision. You said, I'm sucking it up. I'm going to play. Well, why wouldn't you give you should give your team 30 in the first half and hit the wall at halftime, right? Nope. It went just the other way. I still believe that Russell Westbrook's taunting of LeBron in the first quarter finally got to LeBron at halftime, and he's like, I'm going to show him. And yet there was no Russ to show in the second half because Ty Lue said, you're going to stay over here with me because you turned it over 3 times in the first half, and I don't want to see 6 of these, which is what I predicted would be for the game. But the point is, I still like your team a lot. And I especially like your team if LeBron is still capable of doing that, because that wasn't vintage. That was, seriously, that was the best half of basketball I've ever seen him play. It's 30 points. That averages, that totals 60 if you give.
You got to go back to that half, the first half that he played against Boston in Game 6. You got to go back to something like that, Skip. But 12 of 14, Skip.
12 of 14. The game still had magnitude to it because it was really for the 5 spot, basically. It was crucial to the ultimate resting of LeBron James. It's a pay me now, pay me later game. And yet I stepped away from it. Shannon, while it was happening, I couldn't see it coming because at halftime, I mentally wrote the game off. And I was like, God, I have to stay up and watch this because we want to go to sleep because we got to get up early.
Skip, I saw no indication that this was even possible. Now, I know the stats, what LeBron had done in back-to-back games. He was averaging like almost 35 points a game. But I was like, oh, that was wishful thinking. The man had 3 points. He was 1 for 6.
They're down 19.
They're down 19.
What?
So I'm not thinking anything, okay. And then all of a sudden he got a 3 to go.
Shannon, he played a half of basketball with no rebounds.
None.
0 rebounds? You turned it over 4 careless times. They were like out of it turnovers. And you scored 3 points to 4 turnovers? When have you ever seen that from LeBron? That's got to be the worst half of basketball he's ever played.
I think so too, Skip. And plus, he was very, very tentative. Skip, he took 1 shot in the first quarter. I mean, he had 2 points in the first quarter. So I'm like, bro, hey, okay, I understand that you want to get the guys going, but, bro,
all right,
this ain't the game. The Clippers ain't the game to get everybody going. I'm going to get myself going. Y'all follow.
So what did you force Ty Lue to do in the second half? You forced him to play Kawhi Leonard, Mr. Load Management.
Played 43 minutes.
You played him the whole way. Right? Didn't you play him just about... Well, you played him the whole second half. You played him every single minute of the second half, right? All 24. So, and he doesn't do that much because he's kind of coasting a little bit because I think he's afraid of his balky knee. He takes 6 total shots and makes 2. He scores, 8 total points? Okay, so he scored 8 points in the second half. He wasn't the reason that they kept fighting you back, right?
No, that was Norman Powell. Bones Highland and Terrence Mann.
Okay. So the point is, Kawhi tried a lot in the second half to defend LeBron James. And I got to tell you, he couldn't defend him. Okay, well, that should serve you well going forward.
When LeBron says, you know what, when he doesn't settle, he said, I'm going to the paint. I'm going to the rim.
Hey, which is why, help me out. I'm looking at this. Okay, so you won the second half by 12, and I'm looking at points in the paint. You outscored them in the paint, right? 54 to 46 in the paint. You can build on that, right? Look at second chance points. They're on a lot scored, but it's 14 to 8 in favor of the Lakers.
Right.
Well, how did you trail by 19 at half? It's because LeBron played but didn't show up, right? He just wasn't there. And trust me, this team feeds off his energy. Everybody looks to him to set the tone. It doesn't mean that he has to score. It's just the way, it's his body language. And his body language was, I'm out of it. Okay? So they were out of it. AD kind of feeds off him. He was out of it. And then here came LeBron. And it wasn't until this morning that I realized the magnitude of his achievement in the second half because it was happening quietly because it seemed like they were never really in the game. They cut it to 7.
Yeah, I was walking the third. I was like, man, he got 16. I was like, damn, I sure wish you could have got like 8 in the first half. In the first half.
Yeah, in the first half.
He follows that up with a 14 of a perfect shooting in the fourth quarter, 5 of 5.
Okay. You out-rebounded them.
You did.
Okay, 44 to 38. My point is, all my takeaways from this are plus, plus, pro. I like, for your sake, what I saw. I like your team just because I like what Rob Pelinka did at the trade deadline. The pieces fit.
I'm not concerned about LeBron.
Yep.
The only thing that concerns me is which Anthony Davis. Which am I going to get, the Olajuwon or I'm going to get the DeAndre Jordan? Which one am I going to get, Skip?
Yeah. Well, if LeBron can keep playing like he did last night, that won't always matter.
Yeah, but still, Skip, I need his presence. I need his force.
No, I got it. And he can play with big-time force.
Skip, he had like the 3-4 games where he had like averaging 39 points a game and like 15 rebounds. Yeah. He still has the most 35-15 games in the NBA this year.
He does.
So Skip, we know what he can do. We just need to see it more often.
Yeah. The only thing you lost last night was controlling of your fate.
Right.
Now you got to lean on Golden State or lean on Sacramento to beat Golden State, right?
I think they could do that. It's like a server. I shouldn't have to ask my server to fill up my water, my glass.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to ask AD to give me what I know he can give me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about as simple as water in a glass.
Yeah. I mean, excuse me, can I have some more water? I just took $5 off your tip. Because I had to ask for something I shouldn't have to ask for. Yeah. Now, you want to get a thank you? Or do you want me to put a little extra something on the card for you?
Yep. All I want is a little more Diet Dew.
Nah, nobody have no Diet Dew at no restaurant.
They don't.
I know they don't.
Nobody does.
Well, hopefully we will have more flowing on this show as we work our way into the playoffs. Yeah. So, guys, I'm ready. I am here for it. Gentlemen, just to recap, Team Blazers and Kings left for the Warriors, and Suns and Jazz left for the Lakers.
We got
All right, Russell Westbrook. Whew. Do you think he helped make the Clippers make a deep playoff push? Let's discuss one of your favorite topics. That's next. You're on Undisputed.